This is the KO show.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The Mystic Misfit edition. Yes!
Oh, wow.
Come on!
That's an excited man. Come on.
I just want you to know
Yeah.
that I got your boy, KO, and Mr. Ryan and Jordan Bowditch.
Come on.
Now, can you guess which one was adopted? Because allegedly, they're blood brothers. Allegedly.
This is true. We are blood brothers. Actually, when we were kids, I used to joke with him, and I'd be like, "Hey, remember when Mom found you in the dumpster that one time?" And he'd be like, he'd just burst into tears,
Burst into
like,
tears.
like a little bitch.
Bro, I like couldn't even handle it. It was so intense. Trauma.
That's because it was true.
Capital T trauma because it's true.
Capital T trauma.
Savagery.
No, I don't think he burst into tears, but there was maybe a little side one happened.
Yes. Yeah.
No, canonically, he burst into tears. Just for the record, he definitely did that. We were at your house, I don't know, a couple months ago. The wife was away,
Yes.
and we
The boys were
we
playing.
cracked an irresponsible number of ice cold Abraham Brustenheimers, and just recorded a totally random fucking podcast in your studio at your house, just like by the garage.
Yep.
And we told some very raunchy and behind the scenes, like it was basically the inside baseball of Mystic Misfit.
That will never see the light of day.
It was. I mean, I disagree. Let's post it. Let's fucking post it. Let's YOLO.
I would, for sure.
But this is the more polished version. We're here in the studio. Let's Do podcast. Shout out Austin, Texas, and yeah, let's get canceled. How do y'all feel about it?
If we do that, we've succeeded here today.
Come on. So some of you may know. I'm looking at like the monitor. Like I should be looking here. Some of you may know. In fact, if you don't know, just turn the show off. Like you don't deserve to be here if you weren't here in the early days in the trenches.
But also stick around to find out.
Well, yeah, that too. The Mystic Misfits were a conscious boy brand.
Yes.
We led many a retreat internationally, workshops. We were known as the Gurus of Fun. Our one-day workshops in San Diego, LA, Costa Rica, Canada, all over the world, left many of the top coaches in the personal development industry baffled.
Oh, yeah.
Now, before we get into some storytelling, like I'm serious, I'm joking, but why did it leave so many people baffled? Because we got in on the personal development thing. Now I'm a 5-figure coach who coaches 4-figure coaches who coach 3-figure coaches. Like everybody's a coach now.
Yeah.
Everybody has a podcast. Everybody does retreats and events. When we started, though, no one else was doing it.
No, not a single person. No. Well, definitely
Not a single one.
Definitely not.
We
the
were
way
the very
doing it.
first.
We were the first ones ever.
Let the records show. It didn't exist.
We invented coaching.
We pioneered.
We
the
invented
space.
retreats. Well, no, but seriously, we were very early in the curve where I think, we were living together in LA when Facebook Live came out.
Yep.
It's crazy. What a time.
Yeah.
Because before that, we were on like fucking Periscope and shit.
Yeah, it's Snapchat.
And like Snapchat.
Just don't
Yeah.
know.
But-
Can we pause for a quick side story on that?
Oh,
on Facebook
man. And so
Lives?
it begins.
So the first Facebook Live that I vividly remember, I'm sure there was many more besides this, but
The Grapes of Wrath.
the Grapes of
Yes.
Wrath.
Oh,
yes.
yes. Oh, yes.
We
How could
dropped
we forget?
some exceptionally strong LSD from old Kevsky, the conscious drug dealer.
Uh-huh.
And we met some microdose. Well, that was not a microdose.
Happens to the best of us.
It was a macrodose.
And as we're walking around LA and there's all these weird things happening, we run into some guy who's literally has a patch of grapes growing. This is concrete jungle LA, has a patch of grapes growing over his fence.
Yeah.
And we just start talking to him. This guy is just the trippiest, coolest old man ever. And when we're leaving, Jordan's so excited. He whips out the Facebook Live with the big long,
Selfie stick.
extendo.
Which for the record, selfie sticks are extremely gay.
Yeah. They were even
Just
then.
for the record.
They were then. They are now.
They are now.
But a little less.
But
than
it was
maybe.
useful. It was useful. I'll admit.
Yeah.
I didn't leave home without it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was so excited. He's like, guys, keep in mind, we're tripping. And so he's like, guys, we just left the grapes of wrath. And
It had to be
just-
shared.
and as if they understood what the grapes of wrath was. And God, I wouldn't get to find that video. It'll never.
Well,
be
no, they
seen,
did.
but-
That's the thing. Meta deleted
I
all
know.
old
I
lives.
downloaded
So
a
unless
handful of them.
I bet it's
but-
backed up somewhere because
Yeah.
we backed up a lot back in the day.
Yep.
So that video exists, and if it exists, we'll link it somewhere. But we just walked around LA just geeking out, and we like couldn't stop laughing. And
That
we're
was
just in
so
pure
great.
joy. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but your beloved government, things like, I don't know, extremely addictive benzodiazepines and all this crazy shit's legal, but consciousness expanding molecules that just make
Not so
you
much.
interested in nature and people and make everything funnier and
Talk to old
vivid
men
and like,
who are growing grapes and have the greatest time
Yeah.
ever. And
yeah, it just expands your curiosity, your consciousness. It's incredible. You know, obviously not advocating for anything here, but yeah, Facebook Live coming out was pretty crazy. But let's start at the beginning. So we only have an hour. We're gonna speed run Mystic Misfit history. There's probably some OG fans, which, side note, like to this day I still have people that are like, they were following from the fucking Snapchat days.
Yeah.
Like pre-Facebook,
yeah,
pre-Instagram.
Yeah, crazy.
They've been following us damn near. What year was that? Grapes of Wrath must have been 2016, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, dude, didn't we even do a couple
it
of
was further back than
periscopes?
that.
back
It was
in the day,
15.
too?
It was like
Oh,
15.
Periscope?
It
Yeah.
for a hot minute. Yep.
So 11 years ago is that story we just
Crazy,
told.
man.
But let's start at the beginning. Santa Cruz.
Mhm.
I was a young autist and not
Young
this-
autistic.
not the social savant and joker you see before you. I was working at University of Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz.
Dude, how big of a fag was he?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I remember the first time he rolled up and me and Jordan were kicking it. We're like chucking around weights and shit. He's like, "Hey, brothers, can I join you? Maybe I could throw up some hammers with you."
Throw up some hammers. Okay, one, I never spoke like that. Two, you introduced me to him because I was about to tell him when I met you. So Ryan,
What is a hammer?
as you can see,
That's what I said when he said it. I was like, "You know what a dumbbell is, right, Kevski?"
Ryan's brain damage. You're gonna have to work with him here.
Kevin still doesn't know what a dumbbell is.
No, I remember I was going out to a fucking party that old
Yeah.
Ronski,
Yep.
Obi-Wan McRonski,
Yep.
Ronan, our dear brother, whose name
Yep.
is also Ryan.
Yep.
He invited me. He's like, "Oh, there's going to be a bunch of Brain, Mind, and Consciousness Society
Yeah,
cats,"
that
which
was
was
a
the
badass-
cool neuroscience
Such
club
a
at
cool
UCSC.
club. Yeah.
And I had just gotten like a week or two before violently high and watched Waking Life for the
Yes.
second time. I watched it first here when I was graduating from UT. One of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
Linklater, Austin-born director. If you haven't seen Waking Life, stop this podcast and go watch it right now.
Yeah.
It's all about lucid dreaming. It's incredibly powerful. And I walk into this party, didn't know anybody, and this guy is on the couch, probably crushing an irresponsible amount of cruisers because he was slurring, and he was talking very loudly, but he was riffing about Waking Life.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was reading Jung. I was obsessed with synchronicity. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, I need to know that guy.
Yeah.
And then Ronan knew you. Rest was history.
Yeah.
And this was
man.
like 2013 or 14.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah. And at that time, that was such an underground like movie. If you knew it, you knew you were gonna be like boys, because if you were into that kind of stuff, it was such like kind of underground. It was like, oh yeah, I mean, you were.
Do you remember like whose house that was, or where were we? Was that your
No,
buddy's house?
I
Because you like
couldn't
knew the
tell
guy,
you.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was probably
Was it
somebody in that
Easton?
group. It could have been. Yeah,
We're name dropping a lot of names, but
Yeah.
these people would all love it.
yeah.
Anyway, that's when I met you, and then we were fast friends. And then
Mhm.
you were living, you were like nomadic.
Yep.
And then he was like, "Yo, my little brother, who's a totally gay like frat guy,
Extremely, yeah.
is coming to
As
Santa
flaming
Cruz."
as it
And he's
gets.
like, "You have to meet him." And I met you in like the like on UCSC campus, and
Yeah.
you just come from a yoga class.
Yeah.
And you were like, you'd never done yoga. You were like a frat bro. You were like, you know, I'm being conscious now, guys. I'm doing yoga. And like the
Exactly what I said, actually.
the reverse of y'all meeting like me and being like, who's this fucking guy? It was me. Like my version is like, who is this fucking guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I didn't have the like instant like, oh, this is a blood brother for life. I was kind of like, I was like jealous because me and Ryan were getting close, and I was like, who's this guy?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm curious your recollection of that first meeting. Because was that before y'all had Seabright? Had you like
I'm
just
pretty sure.
arrived?
I'm pretty sure we hadn't even moved there. I think I was just visiting.
Yeah, no, for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
So then y'all moved in together because you were
Mhm.
living on campus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And y'all got the Seabright apartment, which
Yep.
was the fabled beginning of everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Mm.
What happened? And what was your mindset? You were living with RIP, the big man, in your car.
Yep.
It was just Jordan and his beloved pitbull companion.
Yep.
You were just like driving around California, or where had you gone? You did like a road trip.
Did a couple road trips, a couple cross country road trips, one to Ohio and one from Ohio. We spent like a couple weeks each time. Me and you, we brought a different friend, a third friend each time, and Biggie. Went to Yellowstone. We went whitewater rafting.
Yep.
We strippers and cocaine in New Orleans.
This is true. Wow. God, man, I
We had
forgot
a
about that
bender
one.
of an evening in Austin as well.
Yep. Oh God, that was ugh.
And because from there we had to drive 24 hours straight to get to California for Christmas after having an all-nighter of a lot of white girl.
Dude.
Jesus.
There's nothing worse when you know you're about to go spend Christmas with your family and you are on a vicious hangover
Yeah.
and you just like, ugh.
Oh,
Yeah, that was rough.
hate
But-
to see it.
And then from there, it was maybe a handful of months later. Actually, it might have been like 6 months later because I lived out of my car. Yeah, I lived out of my car for essentially almost a full year before we moved into the place in Santa Cruz. And when I came in there, like we came in hot. We had this badass place that we didn't think we could get. And this is something I want to underscore because there were two big, probably several big inflection points for me where it was like, dude, I can actually live an uncommonly cool life kind of on my terms and like make some rad shit happen. And it's not this, it doesn't have to be this sensational efforting endeavor. I can just be like, I want to do that. How can I creatively make that happen?
Were you already working for Bulletproof at that
So
time?
I was at that time, but I'd only been with them for 6 months, maybe. Yeah, about 6
He
months.
was junior marketing assistant.
Junior marketing assistant.
Assistant to the marketing director.
Yes. Which just, I was with Zach last night, actually. Did I tell you that? Yeah. It was
I saw
super
your
cool.
story.
Yeah.
He's in town.
Yep.
So
And getting that job, I mean, before that, I negotiated a remote working situation with the company I was working with in San Diego before that, leveraging from the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss, first book I ever read for leisure. Made a funny 5-minute video of why Bulletproof should hire me because you sent me the job description and like had introduced me to the blog website and the podcast and Bulletproof Coffee. And it was, these things were happening in such like intense succession. I'm like, holy shit. Like there's so much bromentum. And it really, I think the climax was going to Santa Cruz because we got this house that we did not think we could afford. I will never forget the conversation when we were in San Antonio with our grandparents.
was that like 3 or 4K a month, that spot?
Yeah, so like $3,500 a month,
Definitely
something like
way
that.
beyond what we could afford.
Which, like, the side note, that's par for the course in Austin now.
know.
In those days, like 10 years ago, that was insane.
It was
Because
insane.
it was right on the beach, you know.
Yeah,
so
it
that's
was
why
epic.
it was.
Yeah,
but-
it's like
Seabright
walk
Beach,
from the
anyone who
beach.
knows
Yeah.
Santa Cruz,
Yeah.
incredible.
And I remember us finding it, and there was just something, I had this strong conviction, like, dude, if we just commit to it, we'll figure it out. And neither of us knew how, but we're just like, we can get the money together to at least start.
Yep.
And if they'll accept us, we'll figure it
Yep,
out.
we'll figure it out.
And we got there, and I don't even think we had, Airbnb was relatively new. So it wasn't something that I had ever even tried, but I just kind of heard of. And we were like, fuck it, let's do that.
Yeah.
And we made this fun listing description with like biohacking, you know, come and we'll fucking pump you with nootropics.
Because
and
you
shit,
were like,
bulletproof
you had
coffee.
like an nootropic bar at the time.
I did.
You were the
yeah.
one introducing me to the racetam,
Yep.
and fucking new pep, and
Yep.
like that. You were like going crazy.
Yeah, dude, I had my own little pill press. I had all the like micro, digital scales and like
we had a corner of our house
Yep.
that had
Yeah.
a table with a bulletproof cloth over it.
Yep.
and
Well,
the
that's
whole
the thing too. At that time, you have to understand putting butter in coffee, all this shit that like you go into Whole Foods down the street and it's
Yeah.
like everybody's got butter oil coffee. Like it was completely new. Ketogenic diet, completely new.
Yep.
Paleo diet, completely new. Nootropics, pretty
very
underground.
underground. Yeah.
And so the value add was like you stay there and like it was a lot of kind of entrepreneurs, corporate types ish, and they're getting rocked because this is like you're not just staying at some dude's house.
Yeah.
You're having a little bit of experience.
At one time, we had a freaking
Google exec. Remember
yeah,
that guy?
I do remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had a barometric chamber,
oxygen
hyperbaric
chamber,
chamber in our living room at one
For a couple
point. So
months,
just
yep.
that kind of shit was like unheard of back then. It was just
Yep.
I loved it.
Well, and I was still working I was the assistant to the dean in the art department and like doing HR admin. Like it was such a bullshit job, but I worked 50 hours a week. I had at that time, like 45K a year, I was balling
Yeah, you were doing good. Yeah.
like for out of college.
yeah,
And I would come over to y'all's house damn near like couple nights a week.
Hell yeah.
And on the weekends, y'all would come
Yep.
up to my house when I moved up to Bonnie Doon.
yep.
And being exposed to, you know, and this is going on the record for you folks. Why is Kevin like this? How did he become like this? At that time, I literally thought, because I was reapplying, I had applied once at UT, didn't get anything I liked. I thought I was going to be a PhD academic. Like I was dead set on doing PhD psychology, probably research psychology, even though part of me wanted to be a clinical therapist. And 4-hour work week, bulletproof nutrition. I had never really drank coffee that much until then. I was a virginal man. I didn't drink coffee through high school. I didn't really drink it in college. I would do a Red Bull once in a while and shit. Like I got obsessed with that diet, that lifestyle. You got me into nootropics, and just more so the mind expansion, because you were like coming out of like, you know, Sigma Chi, San Diego, like marketing. You were gonna go into corporate, like all your fucking frat bros. Like they all work like corporate now, right?
I mean, you were in corporate right before that. Yeah.
So you had come out of that world. And then how long had you been out of the military? You went to Santa Barbara and then Santa Cruz.
Yeah. So I think I was on my
You're a few years removed.
Yeah. I went to Santa Barbara, transferred from there to UC Santa Cruz, and I was at my first year when I met you. First year at UC Santa Cruz. So yeah.
But you did your tour in the Middle East, and then how much time had passed when we met?
Oh, maybe like exactly 2 years, probably.
So you only did like a year in Santa Barbara. And
something like that.
Wow.
My timelines are never great, but
Ryan's not good with that.
Don't ask me.
Revert to me. I know his life better than he does.
He does.
Yeah, classic. And as you'll see, Jordan was our logistical guy.
Yes, he was.
I'm a bit of a
Still
visionary all over the place.
Yeah.
Ryan, just a fucking mess. Hurricane Ryan, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
I want to give that context, because like people will often look at, you know, any one of us and be like, well, they had special privileges and all this fancy stuff, and we didn't. We were totally normal people. That, to your point, beautifully described. It's like, this is cheesy as fuck, and it sounds cliche, but it's true. If you just start to like realize what's possible and expand your awareness and perception, and then just go for it, take a risk,
Shoot some shots.
shit starts happening, and it's inexplicable. And we watched that accelerate to the point where I decided to quit my job. I started hosting those events. Remember, what was it fucking called? The Knowledge Bazaar, Learning Bazaar.
Learning Bazaars. Yeah.
So I had you guys come present. That's when I met D.
I DJ'd at one of them.
Oh yeah. That's when I met D and fucking Hyperloop. Remember all that shit?
Yeah.
Ronan, met Jesse, like the whole crew. And then me and my ex at the time, any chance we could get, we would kidnap Mr. Biggie James Smalls and take him to the beach of the Redwoods. Like we were his godparents.
Yeah,
obsessed with it.
Yep.
And it got to this, like, I want to speed run this because I know we're on a clock here. It got to a culmination point where me and my ex were like, we're going, like, she had just, when I met her at Burning Man, that was the other big thing, is I went to Burning Man this time, which accelerated everything. She had just come back from a tantric ashram in Sri Lanka. So she was already like a tantric yogini and all this shit. And I had been doing yoga at Divinity. I think I brought you one time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was doing yoga a lot.
Yeah.
And I was doing Qigong. And basically I was like, I have to go to Asia and backpack. And I'm just going to sell everything, quit my job, and fuck it. And then you guys at the same time, and that's the part, like there's some holes here in the memory in my version. You guys, because what was your homie's name was staying with y'all? Ohio boy.
Nick. Yeah.
No, Nick was there. Total G.
Yeah.
And we had that fateful last brunch where I basically drove up to Mountain View and then flew to Thailand. And then you guys moved to LA.
Yep.
Like everything kind of like, and that was like a big story point. That was like the end of Act 1.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Because we had only just begun.
This is true.
To leave. I mean, Mystic Misfits weren't even around yet, right? We were trying to do some entrepreneurial stuff. We had the symbiotic relationship, which is going to be dogs and humans, you know.
What was your fucking business card? You had some crazy psychology thing, remember?
Cognitive creations or something?
Something like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
That was back when just ordering business cards on Vistaprint. It's like,
you're
an
official.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. It was creative cognition.
Creative cognition.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
So there was the symbiotic, you had creative cognition, and then paleo
pup nutrition, dog food.
And you're an entrepreneur if you just create a name, a website, and a business card.
And pay $500 for an LLC.
Right.
That's what we did, and we thought we did it. We thought we had made it.
Which, side
we
note,
have a business now.
Not to create FOMO. You and I talked about this previously when I was in here. Say y'all had gone in and I had come in or whatever, as like, you know, CMO, CTO, and we'd gone all in on paleo pup, we might all have exited with like 15 mil.
I know.
Because turns out the dog food industry
Had barely even. Remember, 'cause the
No,
reason why we had that
that's-
idea is because
Bro.
there was nothing out there. I
That's
couldn't
why-
feed
yeah,
Biggie
yeah,
anything.
dude.
It was
yeah.
all shit.
Yep.
So there's an alternate in the multiverse
I
theory.
know,
There's an
bro.
alternate timeline where we're doing this on a ranch with like Ferraris because we're like, yeah, we sold Paleo Pup for a $50 million exit.
Yeah.
Fucking wish we would have.
Yeah.
Fuck this personal development.
You know how I
shit.
know that? Is fucking, you guys remember like the GameStop short squeeze
Oh,
with like
yeah.
Wall Street Bets and
Yeah.
Reddit? So the new GameStop CEO, the reason he took over, he sold a company that was like the Amazon of dog food. It was like Whole
Wow.
Foods Amazon for like way more than 50 million.
Wow.
He was that guy. And he's just a normal dude like you. He's like, why is there no like healthy dog food?
Yeah.
And he like built all this shit. Anyway,
Crazy.
a story for another time.
Yes.
We had done the learning bazaars. You guys were cracking out. I remember I was just being introduced to all this. So my entrepreneurial idea and my creative, I mean, I was literally like Ricky Bobby's dad from Talladega Nights, where like anyone would ask me something and they're like, Kevin, you said you're going to start this kind of company. I was like, hell, Jim, I was high when I said that. I was high all the time at this time
Yeah.
in my life. And it was super creative but not very productive. And
we would
I
do
was
fucking speedballs, hippie speedballs,
Yeah.
coffee and
Spliff.
spliffs.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
bulletproof
those
coffee
were
and a spliff, literally to this
good. There's
day.
nothing better.
God
Yeah.
tier stack.
Yeah.
Put it in the books. But I was like, I'm going to be an author or a blogger. So that's when I started my blog, Beyond the Veil of Sleep. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was learning from y'all. I was like, oh, well, like entrepreneurship. And I read the 4 Hour Work Week. I remember I first cracked it in the hyperbaric chamber
Yeah.
the day I bought the ticket to Bangkok. I'll never forget that. I
Whoa.
was in the hyper. We were chopping it up at your house. Everyone
Yeah.
was there. And I was just sitting there and I was like flipping the pages and like breathing this pure oxygen. And I was like, oh, fuck, you can just like start a company and do things. And that was like a new idea. Like, think about like most people, like that's not even an idea that crosses their mind
No.
that you could start a company or offer a product or service.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like
Much
that's
more
something rich
nowadays.
people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and just to double down on that whole idea of the theme back then that I'm just so remembering, and okay, in addition to you're sitting there in the hyperbaric chamber, you're reading the 4 Hour Work Week. We have a giant whiteboard. We
A
have
whole wall.
a whole wall. We have a supplement corner. I have my DJ set up. I have a microphone. We're freestyling all the time. We're cold plunging before cold plunging was even a thing in the Santa Cruz Ocean, which is cold as fuck. And we don't really know which direction we're going, but we're just so excited and we have such a belief in ourselves. And it's like that kind of, we can do anything, like anything can be done. And I think that kind of excitement and that actually doing stuff is such an important part of starting anything new. And I've noticed as I've gotten older, I have to fight to get back to that state because you get older and you just,
It's not practical.
it's not practical. Oh, I failed that. Oh, I can't quit. I can't move into a house that costs $4,000 a month. That's irresponsible, Jordan. And it's like, I do think there's some wisdom in that, but I also think, wow, look at how many crazy things happened from, we didn't even know what we were doing, but it was doing shit and like having fun and just taking chances. And I just love that.
Well, I remember like that's exactly well spoken. Remember the Abbey? We used to go co-work there.
Oh, yeah.
Dope ass little coffee shop
Yeah.
that was like a repurposed cathedral, like downtown Santa Cruz on Pacific Ave. One of my first blog posts in that season, remember Power Hours? We'd
Oh,
all
yeah,
pop
of
the
course.
laptop, put on a timer, and just write as much as
Yep.
you can.
Yep.
It was called The Frontiers of Experience, which encapsulated what you're saying, which is that's a line I lifted from McKenna, the
Yeah.
goat. And that's what we were living in. We didn't have a plan. We weren't funded. We didn't have investors. You were working for Bulletproof. You were working at university. I was working at university.
Mhm.
I quit my job. You quit your job, or you
Mhm.
graduated.
Yep.
And then you could work remote. So you were good to go.
Yep.
And I was just like, we're at the frontier. Like no one's doing, like, think about the, like, Santa Cruz. Well, I mean, I'll just say it on live here. Gay and liberal. This has to be said. Now, back then, I thought that was kind of cool. I was like dancing in those liberal crowds and UCSC's like,
It was kind of cool back then. To be
It was
fair,
cool.
though,
No, it
because
was.
It was counter.
yeah, it was
culture.
counterculture.
And it was cool because the culture needed that counter.
Right.
They
Now
used-
the left is like kind of lost the plot. But
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then, it was like, these are actually good ideas.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it wasn't like communism or socialism. It was just like, it was like
Something's off.
Yeah. It was counterculture.
Something's not
It
right.
was
and
super
like,
cool.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
And you go to this trailer park at UCSC,
Oh my God.
and you'd meet some characters and get into
Oh,
some
yeah.
conversations.
yeah.
And then we go to the Catalyst and saw like Tycho and shit. It was such a
yeah.
great season. And then I left, I flew out. So I was like, I would end up backpacking Southeast Asia, India, Nepal for damn near a year. And then where did the trail leave off for y'all? You were going to move in with Toddy and
Yep, I moved
fucking
into
Hill.
Los Angeles. Yep.
Right. And then where did you go? Did you go straight with them?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, Jordan, fill in the gaps.
Did you go to Dad's at that point?
Possibly.
Or did you?
No, that was
no,
later.
you-
That
you
was
stayed
later.
in Santa Cruz for a little while. You stayed in Santa Cruz for like maybe a couple months or something. You moved in with somebody.
See, the technical
I
term
have
for
no
this is a
idea.
memory hole.
Yeah.
And culture has this too, where like a memory hole is like, it's a period of history where like no one can really remember what happened. Like
Yeah,
even the
yeah.
Wikipedia, it's like there's debating accounts. I mean, it's
Yeah.
funny,
Dude,
but
I think that you stayed in Santa Cruz for a little while, and then at some point, not too long thereafter, you came to LA, and we lived in the house together in
Right.
Los
Yeah,
Angeles.
because
yeah.
I took
Well,
your
that-
room, you were
yeah.
living in the
and
pool
then
chateau.
you went to
Yep.
Dad's.
Yep.
And then you went to Dad's.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I remember vividly, we stayed in touch. I did my whole fucking pilgrimage, went to India, lived in an ashram, studied yoga, got my teacher training, backpacked the Himalayas. I went fucking crazy and then went through like a breakup and dissolution of the woman I was with. And like just so much shit happened. Got in a motorcycle accident, got stitches. Like it was all this shit. But we were staying in touch the whole time.
Yeah,
And
we
that
were doing,
was
like,
the time.
FaceTimes or Skypes
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah, it was
Skype,
Skype,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
I literally had to load, bro. This is so crazy. It's like, it sounds boomer because now we live in this crazy world. I had to load minutes on my Skype to get international calling to call you.
Yeah.
Because WhatsApp wasn't a thing yet,
No,
like
it wasn't.
fully.
Nope.
Because WhatsApp, you can just internationally call. I had to Skype you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy, bro. We're like old as fuck.
Yeah.
You and who's the guy? Kevin Kelly, 1,000 True Fans.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
introduced me to 1,000 True Fans at
Yep.
that time.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, I was in Copenhagen, which is a dope island in the South Thai Sea. And I was at the best coffee shop with like French croissants, the best espresso. And we got on a call and you showed me that. And my mind blew. I was like, wait, I thought you had to have 1 million followers to like be an entrepreneur and do shit.
Yep.
And you were like, bro, just 1,000 True Fans.
Yep.
And that was also the first Misfit Christmas.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So Mystic Misfit, like this logo was created in Seabright.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, we did that with what was that?
99 Designs.
99 Designs.
Because
Wow.
Tim Ferriss had talked about it on
OG.
his podcast
Yeah,
a bunch.
yeah.
We were like,
Which again, shout out to Ferris.
oh
Like
yeah.
he's considered maybe a little like not one of the top dogs now because he's kind of a recluse, but he's
Yeah.
a genius. But
Yeah.
back then,
Oh,
he was
the
one of the
he was
only
the guy.
people
Yeah.
talking about any of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like full stop.
Yeah.
And I got to have a full circle moment with him at a Bulletproof experience, meeting him and being like, bro, you fucking changed my life, dude.
Yeah.
And had dinner with him like a few years back. Anyway, it's like so cool that like
It's
this
epic.
guy who had such a big impact
Because he
on my
lives
life.
here. He's
Yeah.
been here a hot
Yeah.
minute. Yeah. But
Um,
y'all had already started Mystic Misfit, and I remember y'all talking about it. And kind of the first thing, because there weren't any events at that time, there weren't coaching programs. It was a Facebook group called Misfit Christmas,
Yep.
where we invited a bunch of people in,
Mhm.
and like you're posting videos of the 12 days of Misfit Christmas. And I remember me and my ex were literally scaling this mountain in northern Thailand, and we recorded our video on the summit, and we were like,
Yep.
you know, jumping in, and we were like, this is so cool. And
Yeah.
like,
It was
it's
12 days of
crazy.
challenges.
Yeah.
For those
Right.
who don't know, it was like every day you
It's
had
like
a new
love thy
challenge.
neighbor,
Yeah.
you know, where you would send a message to somebody you cared about
Yeah.
or share gratitude. It was,
Yep.
and it was when Facebook groups were really becoming hot.
There and if you had a good group, it was the shit. It wasn't like there was 100 groups the way there is now.
Yeah.
It was like if you had a good one, it was
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
And up until that point, for the few months leading up to it, we had Mystic Misfit as a blog website.
Yeah.
right.
And you and I were getting really into writing the power hours. Like we were finding a writing flow, and I was
Yeah.
doing some writing for Bulletproof, and I was even getting like professionally trained in copywriting.
Mhm.
I was like finding my written word voice. And that was like, cool. Well, obviously we have a blog website, because that's what so many people would say. That's what you should do if you don't know what to do, start a blog website.
Well, again, Dave to Bulletproof,
Yeah,
it was a
Bulletproof
blog.
Executive,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
Tim, it was a blog.
Yep.
Like that time, if you actually wrote a good, this was well, I guess Medium was out. Substack hadn't even been invented yet,
Yep.
which Substack, as today's recording, is the GOAT. Like if you created a blog on WordPress or you wrote on Medium and you were consistent, you could start a whole company
Yeah.
or brand from that,
Yep.
which is what Ferris and Asprey and all these people did. And I remember sending those videos, and then it was like, oh, like I would have, I mean, this is a key plot moment, was shout out Mr. Sun Min Im, which was my South Korean roommate in college. I was the best man at his wedding. If he hadn't pulled me out of my Asia vortex, I might still be in India today. Just like full like, Jordan, you must release your karmic ties. Like I was like, and like I say that jokingly. I probably would have been a disgusting hippie yoga teacher. And another part of me, like, it felt like home. Like, I can't describe how beautiful and insane it's like, because you had showed me Elliot before I left.
Yep.
And Elliot had learned about bioenergetics and Osho. I had started reading Osho, and then the guru at this ashram, because there was like an Iyengar yoga teacher who was like very military and like intense, which I liked. But the guru was a Osho sannyasin who lived in Pune, and we'd literally do yoga all day. Like, you wake up 2 hours of yoga, lunch, teaching and like workshopping, 2 hours of yoga, an hour of meditation, and then as the sun's setting on the Goa beach in India, fucking Guru Mukh just comes out and sits in a chair like Osho, and he's like, you must release anxiety. And like, just like, he would go into these transmissions, and you're so high because, you know, if you do like 2 a days, like training for something or whatever, like, you're so open and like tired, but also like energized.
And your body's just loose and just like
it's like humid. It's India, so it's like so humid, and just like I was like I wasn't enlightened, but it was pure joy and peace at the level I hadn't experienced up until that point. And there's a part of me that never would have left. But anyway, this guy's wedding, which was in Austin, I was the best man, so I had to come back. And I remember it was his bachelor party, which turned into a ferocious bender, but it started very chill at Dave & Buster's. We're like, we're going to do bowling and all this dumb shit before we went downtown. And, you know, we won't talk about that part in the podcast. I was in the car at Dave & Buster's talking to y'all, and you were kind of like, bro, like, just come to LA and we'll figure it out. And I was kind of like, well, I had no plan. I had a one-way ticket. I was in Austin, and I got my buddy, my childhood friend, Joseph, shout out. And we were just like, dude, fuck it. I'm going to drive to California in my fucking Camry. Come with me. And I just like showed up at y'all's door in LA. And the rest was history.
And then that summer was like our hot boy summer where we became the Mystic Misfits. That's where the Grapes of Wrath happened. And that same day, if I'm not mistaken, is when we made our titles. We created a workshop in real time. That was, what is your heroic self and your villain self? How do you embrace the shadow and have it be part of your avatar and your archetype that you want to embody?
That was one of those fateful poolside whiteboard sessions.
Yes, it was.
And we happened to be tripping balls.
Yeah.
But it all made sense because what were our titles?
So they changed over time, but our original ones, let's see, mine was, it was COO, but was it Chief?
No. It was CMO. It was Chief Manifestation
That was
Officer.
my first one. That's right.
And then CEO.
Then CEO, Chief
Empowerment
Officer.
And then
I think yours stayed the same.
Yeah.
And then you
CSO.
were CSO,
Chief Shamanic
Officer, right?
Which at that time, because I was obsessed with Leary, Alpert, Metzner, McKenna, and, you know, we happen to have some of the finest LSD and psilocybin money could buy.
Hell yeah.
I was obsessed with like psychedelia, brain mind consciousness connection. Like that was like my study in like Asia. I would literally go to yoga, all this shit, and all my free time I would read and write that stuff. I was reading like Leary's journals and like Alpert's journals from Harvard in the 60s. I was obsessed. So looking back, that was cringe as fuck, that title.
Yeah.
Like who I am now. And at that time, I mean, I'll let you guys say it. I don't want to say it. Would we have gone down the paths we had gone down if we hadn't had pretty insane breakthrough experiences?
I thought
that was just one of them.
What, cultural appropriation?
No. I thought you were going to say, guys, who put the mystic in this?
That was way later. I'm talking about the early days. But that for the record, that's true till this day.
No, it is true. It is true. And
you pompous piece of shit.
Hey, don't hate me because I'm
wrong.
beautiful. Like, this is the thing. This is what I want to figure out live for our viewers. When was the first event?
Yep.
So remember, we did that, Grapes of Wrath. And I mean, that's also where Gordon he was born that day, bro.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just likes to pop around town spreading fairy dust to all of his people in the form of, you guessed it, good energy.
Like you and I, we tripped in Santa Cruz once, right? But he didn't.
Yeah.
So we had, that was my first time like being in a journey with you. And this is like hour 4 or 5 post Grapes of Wrath. All of a sudden you just go full retard and you're like, guys, I'm feeling good energy. And then me and Ryan,
my blue blocker
I cried
glasses.
till I was crying laughing, bro. It was so It was so. I remember Biggie. Biggie was like,
yeah, bro.
he was
our
he was
guy.
like in our laps, like vibrating with joy. Like
Yeah.
he was in that. Like it was such a magical. And you had your guitar.
I sent y'all that
was
video
magical.
that I found
Right.
again of us with the angel in the background singing with us.
Yeah,
that
dude.
shit.
Well, so that was crazy. We were freestyling, but then you started playing acoustic guitar, and we started like
Humming,
and
yeah.
like humming, and then we listened to the recording inexplicably, and to this day, like you can say, "You guys are high. You're just fucking retards." There was an angelic female voice
Yes.
and an overtone over
Yeah.
our voices.
Yes.
You can't make it up.
Wild.
Yeah.
And that's the recording we need to find to
Yep.
prove it, so we
Yep.
don't sound crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But here's the fun thought experiment. When did we do the first event? Because
think-
I moved in, and then you went to Temecula.
Yep.
And then we started cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So what
So
was the
think about
first
it. That
event?
summer was, we all three were big time in Bulletproof. So we were like doing
Yeah.
Bulletproof hard. We went to, you and I had gone to Tribe Design where we met JP.
Oh,
Sears.
that's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
That was like 6 months earlier. But then that summer was British Columbia with Tribe Design again. JP was there, and that's where we all met Elliot. And going into that was when we did this experience. And I think we even framed it to some degree of like, we're showing up as the Mystic
Right.
Misfits. They were like promoting us as like the conscious community builders or something like that.
Which, side note, to get to that event, even though, shout out Daniel Eisenman, Tyson Wagner, Timothy Eisenman, Frank J. Picaro. That was my first one. You guys had gone to Kauai. So I was showing up in LA, and you guys were raving about this retreat that you just come from.
Yep.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, bro, we have to go. And I was like, well, can we get paid to go? It's like, no, we're paying to go.
Yeah.
That to this day was, I spent almost my last money. I spent like, my account almost went to zero because you guys NLP'd the shit out of me. It's like, we're going, it's in Canada. We have to book flights and pay thousands of dollars.
We got some sort of discount.
We did,
Yes,
we did.
But we started paying.
But it
lots.
was still
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
for
yeah.
me at that
Pay to
point,
play,
it was
baby.
a huge financial thing. Now, in retrospect, and I say this all the time, one of the most transformational events of all time. And
Yeah.
I've been to damn near hundreds at this point.
Yep.
Well, dude, let me put a pin in this because I was just talking about this the other day at my men's event, my big thing that I led a couple weeks ago. As I look back on my life, there are many things I look at where I'm like, wow, I can't imagine had I not done that. Can't imagine had I not done that. The three that I look at that are big ones, Kauai Tribe Design, where we met JP Sears, my now best friend and one of our best buds for years. The next one, Elliot Hulse, mentor, collaborator, holy shit. Next one, Brandon Hawk. Three of the most influential men in my life, and I think in all of our lives, met investing in this container that was, bro, when we first went to that Kauai retreat and it was like $3,000 or something like that for each of us,
Yeah.
we were like, remember going back and forth, we got on a couple calls with them and I was just, my heart was saying yes. My body's saying, let's go. Oh, but my heart is saying no, except the opposite. My body was saying, let's go, but my mind was like, no. And I was just like, dude, we got to go. Something's telling me we got to go. Charge that shit on a credit card. And again, can't imagine had I not done that. I mean, just the life that I live, that we live, can be traced so much back to us just saying kind of fuck it, willing to go down to zero in our bank accounts. And I think there's something, when I was in a fraternity in college, obviously, we called people that didn't join fraternities GDIs, goddamn independents. And part of what they would say, the kind of meme of sorts, was like, you got to pay for your friends, whatever, bro. Like, I don't have to pay for my friends. It's like, bro, you pay for access to containers with like people that you want to be in connection with. And man, that is one of the least regretful things of my life and one of the most proud things I've ever done. And I think it made us who we are. Certainly made me who I
100%.
am.
How did he, because you, like, before I left for Asia, we were contractors. You were an employee for Bulletproof. So I'd already been to a bunch of events and I went to the first conference, but y'all had met Daniel there, right?
Correct. Yep.
So were you already on board for Kauai or did he sales you into it?
I'd been watching Daniel's stuff for years, man.
That's the
that.
weird,
Yeah.
so this is great. This is the crazy part about Ryan. I'm not going to give Ryan all the credit, but he's kind of the godfather.
Oh,
Yeah.
no question.
You found Elliot the earliest.
Yeah.
You
On
had found the
Bulletproof.
raw bras the earliest. You showed him the Bulletproof
Totally.
posting.
Yeah.
You architected everything. This is all your fault, Ryan.
I did it. Yeah, man.
Which that's just to glaze Ryan a little bit and just pump him up.
Yeah.
That's one of your strengths is finding fucking records and crate digging.
Yep.
You have some of the best deep cuts, whether it's fucking, World Star Hip Hop or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you find the most deep cut shit. Because who
Yeah.
was following Rob Ross and Elliot Hulse that
Yeah,
time? I mean,
yeah.
they were big, but It was pretty
in very
niche.
small ways, man. And I've thought about this a lot of times. Like there have been so many things that I was just naturally gravitated towards that were nothing, but then became these huge translator. And I've thought to myself, man, I wish I would have capitalized harder. But that's the funny thing is that we did. It all became perfectly. And one of the things that I think was a gift of mine is I have this very addictive gene that has at times in my life, as y'all have witnessed, has caused me massive problems. Been addicted to damn near every hard drug in the book and other things. But the light side to that shadow is that when I'm really into something, I go super hard into it. And a lot of times it's things that are not known at the time and later become bigger. And I think that that's like one of those examples of your like shadows when you use them for good can be your greatest gifts. And that's been my story. It's like, oh, that addictive personality when pointed in the right direction has done very well.
Well, you also were raised on some level, and I learned a lot about this from you. And you saw me be born as a rapper and freestyler because I was like dog shit before. I was doing open mics at the Tannery. Remember back in the day at Santa Cruz. This is part of what hip hop, like and bigger, like I'll go out on a limb here, Black culture, whatever you want to call it, African American culture, where like the colonizing and the slavery is obviously terrible. Everyone knows that, but the African slaves that then raised whole generations and like what are the fucking 4 pillars of hip hop culture? It's like
graffiti,
scratching, graffiti,
b-boying, turntablism, and MCing.
There you go. Yeah. So like that I feel like is the blueprint of why you get into so much other niche shit.
Yeah.
Because that shit was all underground to this day. Like, yes, rap and hip hop is now a global phenomenon, but bro, like b-boying and like graffiti, that's still super underground.
Yeah. Yep.
And even MCing and like scratching, or I mean, I guess DJing is blown up, but it's all like EDM.
Yeah.
Like the early like 80s, 70s shit. Like what were they doing?
Yeah.
They were fucking scratching vinyls and doing sampling. Like, I mean, I'm ahead for this stuff. Like you were like, once I learned about it, I got super into it. And my thesis on him, which I mean, you grew up with him. That's why he got into all that shit is because Ryan's for the streets.
Yeah.
And that like lends yourself to some weird inclinations and niche shit.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the weird things that was always funny to me about, in these more modern times where it was like, oh, all white people are inherently racist and white people this, white people this. It was such a crazy, like, I took it extra personal when it started getting real big because I was like, fuck you. I grew up idolizing Black people. So the idea that I hated Black people or like all white people were somehow like inherently racist was just such bullshit to me. And I remember being very like angry when the political climate, which is still very much this way, but it was just like, oh yeah, all white people are racist pretty much. Whether you know it or not, you are. And it's just like, fuck you.
Such garbage. I mean, there's a God tier take on Twitter, I remember, where it's like, look at what we were raised by. Yes, we had people like like white rappers, but suburban white kids like us were raised by Black culture. Think about MTV and hip hop and music. They were fucking gods and like celebrity and all stars. Like, so that's such a weird thing that we're in culture now. But back to the story of Mystic Misfit. So we hadn't offered anything. We were still in ideation and we went to BC.
I think we had maybe done one Misfit mixer going into BC, or we maybe did one.
I feel like we did it after.
One, but we might have started after.
I feel like it was after.
It was very close.
Because after we got home from BC, everything exploded. Because we were fucking supercharged.
Yeah.
In my version of this like recreated memory, we hadn't done one before
Perhaps
that.
Not. Either way, you're right. Even if we had done one, which
it was right before if we did.
Yeah.
And before we move on to that, I just want to say this one. There's many memories from BC, but one in particular that was a more subtle memory is that I remember that was the first time that everybody was like, oh, there's the Misfits. Because we were like this crew.
Yeah.
And it was just like, we weren't, I think that was the power of identity can either be a terrible thing or a wonderful thing. Yeah. I remember the surge of like pride. It's like, yeah, we are. We're the Misfits. And like we it's like that title just energized the fuck out of us.
Absolutely.
And it was like, it was.
Yeah. Now the BC retreat, I mean, we went deep into it on the fucking gunsling podcast we did. It deserves its own podcast because it was a movie level event.
Yeah.
At so many levels. We won't even talk about them here. You had to be there.
It was magic.
You had to be there.
Yeah.
Some of the people to this day, shout out CK, Tyson, all the people over there are still like best friends. to your point, now Brandon wasn't there. Brandon Hawk was in Costa Rica when
Yep.
I met him and you met him, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But Elliot Hulse, shout out JP Sears, early days. Elliot was in full Osho mode. It was insane. Dynamic meditation. If anyone's watched Wild Wild Country,
So good.
you'll know about, which I actually started rewatching it. It's an S tier documentary. It's so good. We were doing that level of shit. And then JP had just gone viral. Like he was a year-ish, 2-ish into ultra spiritual.
Yeah.
And it was so early days. And the retreat itself, which shout out to the Eisenman brothers and International Tribe Design, which I'm pretty sure doesn't exist at all anymore. You know, it was a little controversial. This was the Wild West of personal development.
Yes,
This was not like, what are your pronouns? And do you have
How do you
boundaries?
feel?
And like,
What are your
let's-
I am statements?
Let's be really nice and chill. And we don't want to trigger any trauma. This was like a trigger, traumatic cluster, full send. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
And like I would argue, mistakes were made and horrific things happened. And the boons and the gifts were 100x. What you could get now at like a sanitized, liberal, woke retreat or whatever. Right. It was insane.
Yep.
And it changed us forever.
Yep.
I remember leaving that on the boat because we were in an island in the middle of fucking nowhere in Seychelles, British
You
Columbia.
had to take a boat to a plane to a seaplane.
It was insane. It was a remote island in the glacial flow, way north of Vancouver. It was insane. And I remember we flew back on the seaplane, but it was the boat to get there.
Yep.
And I was sitting there in the boat, like, you know, shirt off, just in the sun, even though it's pretty cold. And I was just like, my mind was blown. Like even compared to India and all the crazy shit I just come from, because this is only like 6-8 months from then, I was like, I'll never be the same again.
Yeah.
Like that retreat was insane.
Yep.
In a good way. And then we got home and we just started cooking. That's, I feel like, when the Misfit Mixer started.
Yep.
We ran Misfit Christmas again. And we did a Misfit Christmas party with people from the group.
With the Malibu mansion.
Yeah. we went crazy after that. And then we partnered with, you know, Danimal and those guys and started being we had a residency at Tribe Design and we went to damn near all their retreats, right? Did we miss any of them?
No, there was one like the later ones when it's kind of started to, we'd already had like our season, but we didn't, there were a few years and several retreats that we didn't miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing to talk about, like, I think as the years have gone on and we went from attending retreats or even being facilitators at retreats to doing our own retreats. And then it was like, you kind of get to this point where you're like, I'm not going to go on somebody else's retreat. I've kind of been there and done that. Wow. And for me, at times I would forget about how potent it was for a person who's not experienced that.
Totally.
And I think you're just reminding me of telling these stories. I'm just like, dude, going somewhere with a bunch of people you don't know and doing a bunch of radical shit that you've never done, having no phones, which that was a big part about it. These were places we didn't have our phones out all the time and all that shit, if at all. And being deep in nature. And it's like, it is a recipe that is so fucking potent, man. And I think because it's been so commercialized, it can be easy to like downplay it. But man, it is incredible when done correctly.
As on the recipe level, it's insane.
Yeah.
So what you just said, you're flying out or driving out to somewhere remote. And that's why like Costa Rica, British Columbia were so insane. I'm trying to like do the full stack in my head.
Glacier National Park.
So let's do the full stack. And you probably might be better at this. Kauai, BC, Costa Rica.
Yep. Glacier National Park.
Glacier was after that?
After that.
I thought there was another one.
No, then after that there was like a.
What about Maui? Wasn't that before Glacier? I feel like Maui was.
That's where we met
Maui
Ram
was.
Dass.
I think Maui was before.
Bro, we
Glacier.
fucking met Ram Dass.
Crazy.
Like right before he passed.
And we'd been talking about him 5 minutes earlier,
Yep.
and all of a sudden he's fucking there.
Yep.
That was insane.
Yep.
It was absolutely.
I mean, that's a whole podcast in and of itself. The synchronicities we experienced on this whole journey.
That's
were
what made me,
unimaginable.
Yeah, that's what made me truly believe in synchronicities. Not believe in it anymore. It was like
We're
there's no
experiencing
It's
it every turn.
undeniable.
You can't tell me there's not such a thing as that. We had too many happen.
Yeah.
It was all the fucking time.
Which for those that may be uninitiated, it's just
Yeah.
a meaningful coincidence. Carl Jung wrote about it, in the 1930s onward. He coined the term. So, I mean, just for posterity, Maui, or it was Maui first, then Glacier, right?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
I think it was Maui. I think you might be right. I think it
So-
was Maui then Glacier.
Maui, the Costa Rica Maui glacier was glacier. No. 1440 was the last one we did.
1440. I forgot what that
But
one.
was there
There was an
one we
Oregon
missed?
one. There was a Pacific Northwest one. in
No, we
there.
were at that one too.
Yeah, we were
Remember?
at that one. That's what I'm saying. We were at that one.
Well, I
can't
thought you said
remember
there
what
was
it
one we didn't go to.
There's one then after they tried to kind of do a comeback and we didn't go to that. You
Okay.
might have actually. And like anyway,
Where was it?
I think it was in Hawaii again, maybe or something. I just
Interesting.
remember like
Because I know
Michael
Oregon was
Oh
the last.
yeah, no. Frank J did a final
Yeah.
one. I did go.
And
to
you
that.
went, that's
yeah,
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I facilitated at it.
Where
Yeah.
was that?
Sedona, maybe. or
No,
something?
it was in Hawaii, but
Hawaii,
I just
yeah.
can't remember
They-
what.
yeah, they did one in
where
Sedona
in
too. Now I
Hawaii,
remember.
yeah.
But again, we were
Okay,
just-
so there's a few in
anyway.
there, but yeah, I remember Oregon was the last one
Yeah.
because I had flown in direct from like Burning Man with Tyson, where we had done Burning Man together. My last Burning Man I went to, and then Oregon, that was like epic, like boat race with the berries. and, like,
Yeah, that's right.
that was like, I mean, that was the weakest in terms of impact, but
It's
it
still
had some
great.
really memorable,
Yeah.
cool stuff. So damn near like, what is that? Like 7-ish retreats.
Something like that.
Insane,
Yeah.
insane story arc. And then inside of that, we ran
Our quarterly quest.
quarterly,
Santa
our
Rosa
first
Plateau.
solo retreat
Yep.
at Plateau Edge,
Yep.
Temecula.
Yep.
God tier. That retreat was insane.
Yeah.
Dude, a couple things I want to say about that. So I want to give a shout out to Watts Cardone, the general, our
Yeah.
chief empowerment officer,
Thanks.
because going into that retreat, what do we charge for this thing? And I remember it was like a few $100. Like, yeah, right. Like we want to make sure that people will come. So like a few $100, like any much more than that, like we won't be able to get people to come. And Ryan was like, and I like distinctly remember how you were like patient and calculated and strategic, and you felt like you had this secret and there was a wisdom and a sageness that you knew you couldn't come in hot. You needed to shaman us through this process of money stories.
Yeah.
That's at least how I, recall it.
Yep.
And something along the lines of think like a couple thousand. And I remember being like, what? Like, no one will come. Who the fuck will pay a couple $1,000? Even though we had paid a couple thousand. Like, it was just our limiting belief stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what we even landed. I think we ended up landing on 1,000 or something like that.
It was. I think some people paid like 12 or 1,400,
Yeah.
but we gave generous discounts.
Yep.
In exchange for them bringing supplies,
Yes.
cooking. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did the classic.
Which everybody has that, rite of passage, and then you realize that shit's fucked. Don't do that anymore.
Yep.
Until you then do. Like I'm doing some stuff right now.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
until you
working out.
do it 10 years later.
But I remember the first sales call where we all three were on it because we all three needed to be on it. And someone paid $1,000, and then another person, then many, many more.
We broke
had,
the
I don't know,
seal.
20 plus people there, something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. It was damn near 30 people.
There was a big part of that season that I remember, just that whole stretch, was the money stuff. Us being fucking poor kids growing up from Ohio was like hundreds of dollars was insane, let alone thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And now when you have 20 people paying $500 or $1,000 split between 3 people and all the costs, you're not making any money. In fact, we probably lost money realistically.
No, we were profitable on that. I remember.
We
It
were.
wasn't
We
much,
made a little
but we
bit.
were
we got
profitable.
some free dinners,
Yeah.
and it paid for some stuff that we could do, but it was not a livable wage by any means. But nonetheless, a seal was broken. There was an elevation in our money story.
Yep.
And then for me, and I think we'd probably all agree, another big elevation was at our retreat. Mr. Daniel Eisenman pitched us on buying Tribe Design for $25,000.
Yeah.
And I remember, again, just feeling like this God type of flow energy. It's like something really important's happening here. And it's not necessarily that you're going to buy this retreat entity that's probably fucking worthless anyways, or not, but it's getting into the energy of what would it take to make a $25,000 purchase?
Yeah.
What energy would we have to embody?
Yep.
How creative and scrappy and bold would we have to be to make that happen?
Yep.
And that energy has stuck with me for the decade since.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We didn't end up buying it because
was
we thought better
incredible.
of it.
Well, and not to talk shit, because I have
Yeah.
like Daniel, if you somehow ever listen to this, you were one of my early, most powerful mentors. And I have
So,
mega respect.
I was just talking to him today, man.
And what that signified to me at that time is the classic Somalian meme from that Tom Hanks movie. It was like literally like Mystic Misfit was in ascendancy. Tribe Design was kind of stalling momentum. And it was, look at me. I'm the captain now. Like it was like he wanted to cash out, but he was pitching us. We were like the sideshow with respect to this amazing retreat brand. And we had been for a bit, right? It was like a couple years in at that point. And then he's like Shark Tanking us at our retreat. Hey, buy this asset, my company, which side note was not an asset and was probably actually negative income.
No, it was. We later found out. They didn't know at the time either until they did their taxes that they were negative. It was a negative business entity.
But we were like, holy, like we after the retreat, we were like crunching numbers and we're like, we should get on a call and like let's seriously.
JP like got on a
Yeah,
call
we're
with him
like
and
advise us, brother. Should we go into debt to acquire this company?
Bless his
Are we
heart.
big dogs? And he was literally like, guys, he's like,
don't do it.
chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
But symbolically, it was a
Yes.
watershed. So
Yes.
that like it's not about that. It was about us coming into authority, us coming into our power, and us owning that. You know, I'll say it on camera here. To this day, I challenge anyone to out facilitate us on our best day,
Yep.
like Game 6, fourth quarter.
Yep.
On our worst day, yeah, I mean, whatever. But on our best day, the best.
Yeah.
And something else I want to say about Daniel and what I learned from that is I don't think he came into that knowing he was going to do that explicit. He might have had an idea, whatever, but his willingness to be so radically honest, very on brand, and so just real and open and fucking go for it was something that was, I mean, I was in awe of that man. And it was such an incredible example to me, and I think to us, of, dude, you know, you'll always regret what you didn't do. And I was like, fuck, man, I might regret some shit that I do. In fact, plenty of things. But I would so much rather live with that regret than the regret of like, I had this feeling, I had this thought, I had this thing that I knew I should have said, I wanted to say, I didn't say because what might happen. Yeah. And I feel like he is one of the, for better or worse, and we've seen both sides of it, is willing to go there.
Yeah.
Which is so beautiful.
I mean, you can't not have, I mean, you were talking about this before the podcast started. We were joking about how it's like part of growing is being like, you know what, I am who I am and I don't need to hide it. And when you do that, people are just going to hate parts of you, because that's just what it is. And so like there is no Daniel without the parts that people thought were super bad and controversial. And I remember just I mean, this dude would crack he would have these sessions where he would
in a specific,
he'd
have
have
Captain
everybody
Obvious was his session where he would do
we
this.
he would intentionally trigger people, and he'd go and he'd sit down on this chair at this like
With his
spiritual
overalls.
retreat, and he'd crack a fucking beer. And he would just start talking shit about people in a loving way, but just in like, hey, you know
He was
what?
poking at
you,
things.
He was
talking
a
too
trigger
much.
master,
Yeah.
on another level.
Like, you said this thing and this is what I thought or what I felt.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm noticing this thing about you, and just
Yeah.
stir the pot.
And
see
it
what
wasn't
happens.
just to like be mean. It was like the most honest thing that maybe that person had ever heard
Yes.
before. And it was like, sometimes he would do it in the wrong way. But it's like, you don't get to have those great moments. You don't get these crazy misfit moments where we're just doing these amazing things without making mistakes. Like there's no way around it.
If you want to make an omelet, got to crack a few eggs. It's a classic saying.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the ultimate learnings of that whole time, because a lot of this was what Brad Blanton, Radical Honesty. That was like the bedrock of some of his work even before Tribe Design started, and I learned a lot from it. And I tweeted this a long time ago. I should probably remix it for the current day because it's even more relevant now. No matter what you do and say, and no matter how careful you are and try to not trigger and be, I'm politically correct and I'm an ally and I'm blah, 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 blah. People are going to judge the shit out of you. Either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
You could just be a flaming racist MAGA retard, like the worst case scenario in our culture, or the most perfectly precise trauma informed. And both times people are like, you're fucking terrible. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you might as well shoot your shot authentic.
And be who you actually
be
are.
who
Like,
you are.
why would you kowtow to this energy?
Yeah.
And like, you guys damn well know, because we've all coached men, we've all done a lot of men's work. This is the epidemic for men, period.
Ooh, come on. He's preaching.
People pleasing.
Yep.
Fawning. It's a trauma response. Withholding and pretending to be likable and an emotional doormat, because the fear of being a bad guy or a narcissist or like getting me too'd is stronger than the pull of your heart. Like, I need to say this.
Yeah.
I need to set a boundary. I need to fucking break up with her. I need to ask her to marry me. I need to quit the job. How many men are literally living in that prison every single day?
Yep.
And we've all seen it 100 times.
Yeah. Well, this is back to why I think the only way to not have that intense fear, yes, you have to practice saying the truth and all that. And you have to get the fuck off the computer. You have to get the fuck off the phone. You have to get out of that sphere. Because that's what most people on some level are afraid of, right? It's like being ousted as some person who's speaking wrong, or even getting out of your friend group. Because that's also, hey, I got to say the right thing around my friend groups. I mean, hopefully you have close friends like us where we can say the wrong thing and be okay. But I think most people live in places where it's like, you got to kind of play the rules of which is fine. That's society. But getting out of those scenes too, aka going to a retreat with a bunch of people you don't know, or for me, going deep into nature by myself and like spending a lot of time out there and just unplugging from that and like figuring out who the fuck you are is just so important. Because sometimes I can get confused myself. I'm like, damn, if I watch too many of this like political channels, suddenly I'm like, yeah, I believe in this, and then I watch another one, I'm like, yeah, I believe, and I'm like, whoa. No, I don't think I believe in any of that shit. And I can only figure it out by like exiting sometimes. So that's a big part of that.
Is this whole podcast a pitch for a Misfit comeback tour?
Oh, shit.
I thought you'd never ask. I mean, I guarantee if we did it, even here in Austin, I bet it would sell out instantly. We've already talked about this behind the scenes.
That'd be so much fun,
multiple times.
I would love it.
I mean, it's funny the men's work thing came up because the part of this that was really cool is there were seasons. We were full ride or die tribe design, and then we started to pop off in LA because we were hosting events at our house. And then there's too many stories for this one podcast, but the San Diego season was our goat.
That was the goat.
That's when the Immersions were born.
Yep.
Polarity Salon was born. Insane raunchy house parties were born.
So I met my wife.
Fucking yeah. Like we what is it called? Desert something. We co-produced a festival.
Yeah, micro festival.
Like we
Desert
went
Rising.
crazy. And then we met Elliot.
Yep.
So Elliot became a new vein where.
Well, Elliot, we met right before
in
moving
that
to San
scene.
Diego. In that scene, yeah, exactly.
But then we went and did damn near 3, 4, not just retreats, like 7-day intensives with his mentor, Chrisana Locke, the GOAT, shout out, who was literally with Osho. And we went to this day. I it's hard to explain this stuff. And again, this is a whole podcast. We're not going to do it justice. 7 days of Reichian, Lowen, Osho bioenergetics, waking up at dawn, going to bed at sundown, nonstop dynamic Kundalini, fucking all the crazy meditations, plus the Reichian stuff we did where she took us through bioenergetics. I've done ayahuasca. I've done heroic doses of psilocybin. I haven't done a boga like you, and I've done a lot of other crazy shit that's synthetic that I'm not proud of. Nothing compares. Like that was the most completely sober, just with breath, movement, postures, shaking, movement. It was insane. Yeah. And we saw miracles and like damn near like exorcism level shit.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude, like there's a part of me that after seeing all the things that we saw, it was like, how much of people being like possessed is actually just these crazy repressed parts of us that sometimes are like ancient archetypes that like are just embedded in our DNA, and it looks like a possession. And I'm open to the idea that maybe there is like actual demonic shit out there, but I'm also open to the idea that like there's this deep part of our DNA that is when you activate it, man, like these things come out of people that you're like, that's not that person. That's something that it is that person, because clearly, but that they're not acting. That's like something very deep within them that can never come out in polite society. It's impossible to bring it out.
We got introduced to not only the dynamic meditation, which Osho was remixing with Alexander Lowen, who was the student of Wilhelm Reich, an incredible body of work, to the point where the Nazis and the Brits and the Allies burned all of Reich's books, which tells you that he was for sure onto some crazy shit.
He got thrown in jail too, right? Yeah,
he died in jail.
Yeah,
he died broken in prison. Yeah. Tragedy. Shout out and RIP. And we got introduced to family constellations, which that was insane, which is part of like IFS kind of school of thought, internal family systems, if people know, like parts work, which is very popular now. The whole point of this, like all the storytelling for me, is like we lived from those seeds, which we talked about, the beginning experience of like, oh, it's a 4-hour work week. Like maybe we could not just work in a corporate job, to like what we lived through and are still living to this day. Yeah. Like it hasn't stopped. It's changed a lot. You know, you got a kid. We're trying to conceive. You'll meet your wife soon, I'm sure. Putting that prayer up.
Thank you.
Like we're in a totally different season of life, a decade removed. But those first decisions and the willingness and openness to look stupid, be wrong, meet people, take financial and social risks, like it's unimaginable, the ROI. You can't even quantify it.
Yeah, man. And it's never too late to do that shit either, man. I mean, I've had many experiences. I mean, I'm 41 and I'm still doing things like that I'm like, wow, I just shook my whole world up and it produced something beautiful, even though at the time it felt like scary and like unsure and I'm like not certain of if I'm doing the right thing. And it's like, dude, I just feel like life has all these magical qualities, but you do have to be willing to just like sometimes let an old life go. Like you have to let it go completely, man. And that's like really hard to do, but we just did that so many times back in the day that I think it produced some incredible fruit, and I feel very proud of it. You know, even though at the time it was like we always had that like, wait, do we do this? But like we did it, you know.
And I think it's like syncing that sensation up with your nervous system of that like emotional intensity and volatility. Yeah. It's like, should I fuck? Ooh. It's like noticing that the old story is that's bad. I need to avoid that. I need to push that down. I need to go the other direction. It's like, bro, lean into that. Yeah. It doesn't mean you make, through that you will naturally, I have made many quote mistakes or done things, fuck, wish I wouldn't have done that. Or like, that was a little unhinged, a little immature, maybe not as thoughtful as it could have been.
Sure.
And yet I've now been there enough times to where I'm like, I can trust myself to make a pretty good decision in those moments. Even if it's an unclear one, it's a risky one. Mm-hmm. And even more than that, no matter what the outcome is, I'll be fucking okay.
Absolutely.
I'll be good.
Yeah. Taking risks in life is huge. And each person's like level of risk is different. Like someone might look at my life and be like, that's way more risk than I ever want to do. And it's like, you might be right. But I think each person has a knowledge of what their risk level is. Mm-hmm. And even if you're like, well, I'm kind of like, I'm a safe person. It's like, stop being that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but for you, not.
But Ryan, I thought you were a safe place.
No.
Is this a safe place?
I'm a place to not play a space to not play it safe.
I mean, Marcus Aurelius, one of the goats, has one of the best quotes on this, which is like, why are you so afraid of losing anything? Nothing belongs to you. You'll enter the grave and nothing comes with you.
Yeah.
You're renting everything, including this body. So that's like the ultimate thesis for risk taking on a pure logic level. Obviously it's not, because it's heart, it's emotion, like you're saying, it's all body stuff. But on a logical level, if you're listening to this or like you've resonated with anything we've said, because we're ordinary men, which is another great, it's actually not Osho. Krishnamurti said that, and then Osho picked it up, and I think someone else, where it's like, I'm an ordinary man. Like, I'm no different than you. What we're describing is our little hero's journey, which was full of mistakes and mess ups and fuck ups and a lot of weird moments and awkwardness. But the fruits of it are so undeniable that what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You take a risk. Oh, you lose your relationship. Well, you could argue, was it a true relationship? Yeah. Can you lose it? Oh, I'm going to quit my job and da-da-da. Bro, get on LinkedIn and get another job.
Yeah.
Like, the stories, and we all know because we're all coaches, like a client or a person you're going to work with or even a good friend, the reasons they give for why they won't take risks can poke holes in them all day.
Yep.
Like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What's the actual fear? Oh, it's, will I lose love? Will I be unworthy? Yeah. Will people look at me differently? It has nothing to do with all the physical shit. Right. If you drill in, usually, in my experience.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
And most people too, it's like, if you're doing the same, we all know the same, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, the definition of insanity. But I think that actual saying is sanitized. There's a way more, if you really think about what that means, it's like, dude, if your life is not changing or my life's not changing, your life, and you're like, yeah, but I am doing some things different. You got to do more different,
like
even more
radically different.
Radically different.
And sometimes it's one radical decision. I would even dare say oftentimes that's what it really boils down to. And I want to right size the conversation. If I'm just doing a bunch of radical shit all the time, then there's not a consistency. It's like all over the place. Right. But there are these big moments, these big decisions. And then the in-between is like, all right, then I'm consistent. I'm disciplined. I like those kinds of things. But if you're not making radical decisions, let's say on like a quarterly basis, like seasonally making a pretty radical decision, you're probably not going to see radical results.
Yeah. And to your point, if a person is always doing radical things, well, their radical thing is to stop doing so much radical
Totally.
thing. That's their radical thing. Yeah. But
And it's
most
maybe
people
relative,
are not
right?
that,
Because my
yeah.
judgment of what's radical, I see this person doing radical, but if their life is exciting and fruitful and, successful, whatever your metric is for that, then they probably don't even perceive all these things as radical.
Yeah.
So it's just a new baseline for their, what they
I mean,
deem
I would damn near say that's us. Like,
Hey, totally.
now we're kind of numbed out to what our earlier selves would be like. Like now we're just like, yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So like we actually have to push the bar into
Yeah.
new territory.
Right.
And like, I'm finding I have my own version of that in my life, as y'all all do, I know. And like, I mean, to kind of land the plane here, because I think we're over an hour, or we could go for 3 hours. And the good news is you now live in Austin again, so we can do part 2 of this, because I want to let the audience know.
And we got this podcast.
There's so many stories that we need to tell.
Yes.
Like what I teased out, like just some of the retreats / some of the seasons, the Elliott season, the tribe design specific retreats are a whole podcast. If we get into like the fucking nitty gritty, it's insane. But to land the plane, we'll give our closing statements here. Number 1, go follow Mystic Misfit and sign up now for only $19.97.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to do something radical? We're making a comeback tour. I mean, maybe it's true. Half joking, mostly serious. More importantly, like where we just organically landed on, there's no script. I actually took some notes. And again, like you've seen me, I didn't even look at them because we're just vibing, as we know. We're gunslingers. We're professional gunslingers.
Yes.
The meat for me that I just landed on is, okay, I'm an ordinary man, and so are y'all. But we did a bunch of extraordinary shit, which means that if you're judging us or you're like vibing with us and you're like doing the projection in the positive way, like, fuck, I wish like I could da-da-da. Which, side note, you know what most people tell me, like close friends who watched this over the years? It's not about what we did. It's the fact that we did it together. They're like, bro, y'all's relationship and like the 3 of y'all,
I've heard that many
I've
times.
never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
That's what I hear the most.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is why I fucking love you guys.
Yeah. I love you. Bro.
And like we took calculated risks.
Yeah.
We also took some full retard risks. We took some L's. Like it wasn't all W's. Like let's be honest. And we can get into our L's in another show. But if I could leave you guys with anything watching is retreats, I mean, there's a pattern here, is one of the most powerful. But there's many other things. Honestly, the relationships, like the whole feminine side of our journey is a whole nother story. Telling someone you love them or going for it, man or woman. Starting a business or being creative. Within our journey, we all found our creative gifts in a whole new way. Going to an event, booking travel. Like part of why the retreat's powerful is you're traveling. It forces you to travel. And the simplest one is like stop. I mean, you nailed it multiple times. Stop just consuming and doom scrolling. Like if you watch a Huberman podcast or you watch a Rogan, like actually implement for 30 days one of the protocols, because that's the kind of shit we were doing. It changed everything. So those are my closing words, and I'll pass to the Bowditch brothers.
Yeah, Jordan, go for it, man.
I mean, the thing that's landing strongest for me, and it often does, is community. Like you nailed it. It wasn't what we were doing. I mean, it was to some degree, make no mistake, but it was us doing it together and how we were supporting one another, how we were laughing and just shooting the shit and trying stuff and iron sharpening iron kind of energy. And so show me your friends and I'll show you your life. It's classic, right? And so often, like when I'm having an interview with a guy that might come to a retreat or work with me or something, on my short list of questions is, what does your community look like? And specifically, what does your brotherhood look like? 99% of the time, and I mean this, 99% of the time, even if they say, well, they'll use the high voice, that kind of like, and I just, if they don't immediately go, it's actually really great, which again, 1 out of 100 will say something like that. If they don't, if you don't have that immediate response when you hear me talking about this right now, fucking, that's your number 1 priority. Because the life that I live and the joy that I experience consistently is directly correlated more than anything in my life to the men I'm surrounded by, and community in general, women too, but like men in particular. And so like that, if I'm not having fun with my friends and like kicking it with my boys and becoming better men together, dude, life sucks. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So that's my closing remark.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to say the same thing. I think that having just come back from spending a lot of time alone in nature, foraging, hunting, fishing, and then also having one of my best childhood friend who was locked up in prison for many years that I was, or on the streets doing stuff so I had kind of lost him. He came back into my life, and he was the only person who would come out there with me when he could. He had kids and stuff, but when he would come out there with me, and just watching his joy and his childlike wonder by being with his buddy out in nature, like doing shit, which he hadn't done that kind of stuff for forever, dude. Like watching his soul come back online, and it was just me and him, just two of us. So ideally, yeah, you get yourself a squad, right? But man, even if you just have one friend who gets you the fuck out of the house, I mean, gets you out doing stuff. Sure, going to the bar and that can be good sometimes. But I do think there's something about going out in nature and doing stuff, or doing just something that's different.
Competing, playing games, exercising.
Yeah, traveling, playing freaking Dungeons and Dragons, dude, playing video games. Fuck it. I'm actually a fan. If your buddy comes to your house and you and him play video games,
it's the best.
That's better than you sitting there on your phone.
Yes, 100%.
Not
100%
connection. And I love that you brought that point up, because that is the point of the Misfits, man. It's like none of this would have happened. Like I have this visual of us. I forget what country or state or wherever we were at, but we're on this porch and we had eaten some mushrooms. I don't know to what strength or dosage, but I remember I was very giggly, and we were cracking a cruiser, and people were just walking by us. It was like day one of some retreat, and they're walking by us, and they're just mystified
Glacier National
by
Park.
us.
Yeah.
I think that was, and they're
Classic.
just and we're just so free and playful.
We had a cross cocktail of kratom, a cruiser, maybe snorted a little Adderall, and a microdose of psilocybin.
Yeah.
Got him.
I remember that very well.
I just
For the life of the whole fucking party.
and I just remember I was so free, and I'm definitely more introverted than both these guys as a whole. But I remember just whenever the three of us would be together, I was so free in my like playfulness, my inner child, that I could not and cannot unlock that level by my fucking self.
Yeah.
It just can't be done, dude.
There it is, man. That's the closing words. This is what I need y'all to do if you've been listening to the whole show. And also clip all of this, whoever's going to clip it. Number one, go take some risks. We drove that point home. Number two, I couldn't agree more with what you said. It's shocking. Like when I do interviews for anything, you're going to join a men's group, you're going to be a client, whatever. 99, it's not exaggeration, have no community. And you wonder why, blah, blah, blah. So community exists, and it exists here. These gentlemen are tagged up in the show notes. You know me. Like, just reach out to someone. In person is best. I need you to smash the like button. I need you to subscribe and follow. And the biggest thing is, because this long show is only going out on Spotify and YouTube, please, for the love of God, go to Spotify and just fucking give it a review. It doesn't even have to be 5 stars. Be honest. Tell us what you really think. But give me a review, and that would be amazing. And for posterity, this was Mystic Misfit, the history, the annals, the chronicles, the canon, part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Done. Let's fucking go.